Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I thought we'd have a look at day two for Royal Ascot. Obviously we get the final decks tomorrow for day two, but this is what I've spotted so far, or the horses that I'm interested in. We'll start off with the Queen Mary Stakes, the 5 furlong sprint for the fillies, and I think Love Reigns, she's short price. What is she? She's 3-1 favourite, and I totally understand that. I thought the way she won on debut was very impressive for Wesley Ward, in a style that she didn't go stupidly hard. She didn't. She wasn't a tear-away leader and hanging on sort of thing. American horses, they seem to. You get quite a few that go hard, really hard early, and just burn the others off. She didn't seem to do that. I thought she was very well controlled. She's very fast, but very well controlled as well. And I think if she turns up here, she will go very, very close here. Dramatised for Cole Burke, I thought was very good at Newmarket. Bit keen, ran about a bit as well. Will learn. I just wonder whether, the fact that Love Reigns could go quite hard and really get dramatised out of her comfort zone quite early, and if she's still learning, I just think Love Reigns might be able to get her out of her comfort zone too early, and dramatise, not really run to the best of her ability. I looked at Maria Branwell. My concern about Maria Branwell is surely the fact she went off 10-1 on debut and then 3-1 for a listed race at Sandown. She's always finishing strongly. I think she wants 6 furlongs, but the fact she didn't go off favourite, even for a listed race. Connections generally know whether they've got a horse good enough to win Group 1 races, or to at least challenge in Group 1 races. And if you do, you're not going to go off 10-1 for a maiden, or you're not going to go off 3-1 for a listed race. So I would have doubts about Maria Branwell being up to the class of a potential or a probable Group 1 performer in this race. I thought the Simon and Ed Crisford horse All the Time was very impressive. When she won at Nottingham, I thought that was a really good effort. I thought she was controlled from the front. I thought she was impressive, and she was strong at the finish, which I thought was very eye-catching, despite winning. If she is able to not necessarily go with Love Reigns, but try and track Love Reigns, or be close enough that she gets a good run through, I think she's the biggest danger to Love Reigns personally. All the time, if she runs here, there's a few places that haven't priced her up, but I think she's the biggest danger personally to Love Reigns, and that's All the Time, because I thought she's already got that professional side to her, which I think she's going to need. I think they're all going to need it if they want to take on Love Reigns. Moving on to the Queen's Vase. Now, Half It is the current favourite, or has been priced up as favourite, and I don't totally understand that. I don't think the form is as strong as some of the others. Looks a bit of a tricky type. I'm just not. I don't totally understand that. I thought by now they would have realised whether Half It was good enough. He won at Newmarket, but then has been beaten at Haydock, Newmarket, Newbury, and I just don't think Half It's going to continue progressing like I think a few of these others in this race might. A couple of those that definitely I think can progress. Changing of the Guard is interesting, but I think we might see Changing of the Guard in the King Edward, the 5th stakes. Finished 5th in the Derby after winning the Chester Trial. Pretty much got a good run at Epsom in the Derby. I didn't think it showed, it definitely wants to step up in trip. That's why I think they'll go for the just shy of 1 mile 4 race rather than the 1 mile 6 race. I think the horse from the Derby that did look like the 1 mile 6 would suit is this one, Nahani. Now obviously we know Adam Kirby was quite annoyed with the fireworks at the beginning of the Derby, or just before the Derby started. he said Nahani got worked up. Nahani was slowly away then, didn't get the clearest of runs, and I don't think Adam was that hard on Nahani when he knew that the race was gone. And with that in mind, I thought the way he's finished his race off, and he was closing on changing of the guard all the way to the finish really, and I think Nahani can reverse that form and is the one from the Derby that goes closest in the Queen's Vase. The other horse that was interesting is Newfoundland. He's been highly regarded, and I think the interesting thing with him is he's one that you'll be pretty confident will get the trip. Not only has he won over 1 mile 5 recently, the second run of his career, they went over 1 mile 5 back at in Navan in April. They went straight over 1 mile 5 on just his second run. They think he's a 2 mile horse plus, and to be doing that so early on in your career always suggests to me that they're pretty confident he's going to stay the trip. Some of these others might not. Nahani might not. Changing of the guard might not. You can be pretty confident Newfoundland will, and he's also had a bit of. He had to fight last time out because he got a bit messed about. And I think in this race at Ascot, they're gonna, you're not going to get something that generally at Royal Ascot wins this type of race on the bridle without having to do anything. You're going to have to be professional enough to win a race, and I think Newfoundland now has that. I thought that although it looked messy, it might end up doing a Newfoundland a world of good the way he won at Navan recently. So I think they would be the main two I would like there, and they would be Nahani and Newfoundland over half it and changing of the guard. Behind those, I didn't really see a lot that I could be confident of going and running big races. On to the Prince of Wales Stakes. I had a look at 4 or 5 in this. There's not that many actually in the race. What is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 8 in it. I looked at 4 or 5 of them. I thought Bay Bridge is obviously still progressing. The way he won at Sandown recently, very impressive. Pulled away from a good horse in second. Should be fitter for the run. There was plenty to like about Bay Bridge. I thought Lord North and State of Rest have a very close form line at the Curragh, where Lord North finished 4th and State of Rest was 3rd. Now, I think State of Rest will maintain that form, and I think he'll confirm the placings. And I just think State of Rest doesn't like the Curragh. He's been beaten twice now at the Curragh. Last time, I think Shane thought he was going to win it quite comfortably. If you watch with about 3 or 4 furlongs to go, he's quite wide, but he's travelling, and Shane's not really doing anything. Some of the others are getting to work. Lord North's getting to work. Alan Carr's getting to work. I can't remember the other one that was in the race. They're all getting to work. Might have been Ben Battle. No, I'm not going to guess who it was. I can't remember. But they're all getting to work, and Shane Cross isn't on State of Rest. I think he really thought State of Rest was going to pick up. He didn't. But it could just be that he's not as effective at the Curragh. At Ascot, hopefully he can run a better race, and I think he would be the one I would be saying is the biggest danger to Bay Bridge. It would be State of Rest, and there is a little bit of support for State of Rest at the moment. Moving on to the Duke of Cambridge Stakes. It's a bit of a strange race this, so it is a Group 1, but I think there's some Group 1 horses in it, and I think there's some that are nowhere near Group 1 quality. Bashkarova kind of has to prove it, still on her way up. She beat Popatova recently at Epsom. When she got the run of the race, Popatova didn't. Popatova was very slowly away, but that is Popatova for you. She does do that. She did that at Kempton. Personally, I do think she will reverse the form here, though. I think Popatova will beat Bashkarova. But whether that's good enough to actually win this race, I'm not sure. I think there's 2 proper Grade 1 horses, or Group 1 horses in this race, and they are Saffron Beach and Mother Earth. And personally, I fancy Mother Earth to beat Saffron Beach this time. I think last season when Mother Earth disappointed behind Saffron Beach, I think Mother Earth just had too many runs that in her season. I think she's only had a couple this season. She won at the Curragh. Yes, she was disappointed at Newbury, but I think she's better than that. And back against her own sex, I think she'll go much closer. I also think, as I said, in terms of, you know, how many of these are proper Grade 1, Group 1 mares, I'm not so sure. Saffron Beach, yes. Mother Earth, yes. Lights On isn't running. Bachkarova and Popatova have got to prove it, and I don't think the rest are good enough. So I'd think it's out of these two, and I would be siding with Mother Earth at this stage. The next race is the Royal Hunt Cup, and there's a few in this that obviously are interesting. I'm quite interested in Legend of Dubai. I thought his form is very good. When he was second on his final start as a 2-year-old, he was behind Lone Eagle. Lone Eagle's a proper Group 1 horse. Legend of Dubai has won twice since at Fosslas and Newmarket. Won at Newmarket recently very impressively. Yes, is up in the handicap, but I think there's still plenty more to come. And these owners and Roger Varian do well in their handicaps at Ascot. They normally have something that's very well handicapped, and I think that could be Legend of Dubai this time. In terms of very well handicapped, you'd have to think that Astro King is also well handicapped. He finished second in this race last year and is just £4 higher. The winner was Real World, who's a Group 1 horse. You know, he's up, I think, 1 off 94 and is rated 116 now. So Astro King being just £4 higher would obviously give him a massive chance. Ryan Moore's been booked to ride. I thought Mark did a satisfactory job on his return in a prep run at Thirsk. You know, they were never aiming to win that with the Royal Hunt Cup in mind. I think it's out of those two, personally. I really do. Dubai Mirage is interesting if they put the headgear back on. They got to work too early on him at Nottingham, and that set the race up perfectly for Dark Shift, who is favourite for this Royal Hunt Cup. So the form is strong, and if they put the headgear back on and get a nice toe through the race, then Dubai Mirage could certainly run well at a decent price, considering Dark Shift is 8s, Dubai Mirage is 25s. But I think the two that I'd be focusing on are Astro King and Legend of Dubai. I have also looked at Uzo, who was 4th in this race last year, but he's unlikely to get in, and I think will end up in I think it's the Holyrood Palace House, the 7 furlong race instead of the Royal Hunt Cup. Moving on to the Windsor Castle, you know I'm a massive fan of Little Big Bear. I think this is perfect. I thought the way he finished over 5 furlongs really suggested they should stick to 5. And I think he takes all the beating on Wednesday. And the final race of the day is the Kensington Palace Stakes. There's a few here that I think were interesting at decent-ish prices. Dubai Love has previously finished 3rd in a Sandringham. Generally runs her race. She has dropped from 103 to 97 now. I'd be interested to see the jockey booking for Dubai Love. If she gets a claimer on, you know, Harry Davis would be perfect. I think she could go very well in this race. White Moonlight could also be of similar ilk. The fact that they left her and they kept her in training, having not run after winning 2 races as a 2-year-old, we then saw her after 971 days as a 5-year-old in a maiden. In a conditions race, sorry. She gave away weight. She pulled far too hard. You know, it was only, well, it'd be 13 days ago, so it was only like 10 days ago now. If they go a bit faster and she gets covered up, she's obviously got ability, and there must be a reason why they've kept her in training. You know, they could have retired her with 2 wins to her name. Instead, they obviously think there's something better for her rather than just a couple of moderate wins. Angel Power is interesting now. Harry Davis has been booked for Angel Power. Takes 5 off. She could be she could be very classy. She could be the class horse in this race. She has dropped from a mark of 108 down to 101, but she's running okay. She's not running disastrously. She's just finding the company too good. It is a drop-in trip, so you'd imagine that they would want to be prominent on Angel Power. But if she gets to the front or gets near the front and gets a nice run through the race, you would imagine she's going to go close here in slightly easier company. The final horse who caught my eye was State Occasion, who was unlucky not to win at Ascot last season, didn't get the clearest of runs, is slowly progressing and was a good winner last time at Chelmsford in the style of a horse that still has more to come. So I think she's interesting as well. Looking at those, White Moonlight is 7s, State Occasion is 14s, Angel Power is 16s, and Dubai Love is 25s. I think Dubai Love at 25s is quite nice, and maybe Angel Power with that jockey booking. Obviously, we don't know much about White Moonlight. There must be a reason they've kept her in training though. So there are some thoughts, just some quick thoughts for day 2. Just very quickly going over them. I think Love Reigns wins this, and I think the biggest danger is All the Time. I like Nahani and Newfoundland for the Queen's of Ours. I think State of Rest is the biggest danger to Bay Bridge. I think Mother Earth is the one to beat, not Saffron Beach. They're both proven Group 1 horses for me. In the Royal Hunt Cup, there's a couple that I'd be focusing on, the Astro King and Legend of Dubai. Legend of Dubai could still be very well handicapped. Little Big Bear would be my nap of the day if he runs in the Windsor Castle. And rounding off with the competitive Kensington Palace Stakes, I think Dubai Love is interesting, Angel Power is interesting at a decent price, and White Moonlight is the one that could still be, if she settles and runs her race, she could blow these away.